This will cover all aspects of what each child needs to know, right? But the purpose of the Haggadah and the word Haggadah means that each parent has to tell their child or children the story of Pesach, but in their own words. That's the meaning of the word Haggadah. Okay, so I want everyone to understand that, to make sure that they know the difference between Amar, Daber, and Haggadah. Okay, and that's the fifth part of the Seder, is Magid, right? We say this, we tell the story. We tell it, but in our own words, right? So okay, we have the text of the Haggadah, very nice, and we say it, but each table, each family that's sitting around the table should have their own twist on the Haggadah, add something of their own to tell a story in a different way. Okay, now that being said, we're going to study one section of the Magid section of the Seder, right? So we have a set text that was developed over a little bit of time, over the last couple of 2,000 years, let's say. The text was developed, and now we put it together into the section of Magid, right? And we have, that's what we say as part of Magid, and each table should add something so that they give it, their own little flavor to it. So I'm going to share my screen now, and let me see if I can get it up. Here we go. Okay. Let me minimize this, put this up top. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to go quickly through the beginning part of the Haggadah, right? It starts off with halachma anya. This is halachma anya. This is the lehem ani, right? This is the poor bread. We're not going to do this part. Then we say, after that we say manishtana, which I'm sure many of you know. Then we start with avadim hayinu. This means that, we started as slaves in Egypt. This is the beginning of the story, right? And we continue. And then we say a couple of paragraphs of different stories that happened in the times of the Mishnah, that they were sitting and they were saying over the story of Pesach and all these different stories that they had. And then after we say a couple of those stories, we get to something in the Haggadah called the Arba'a Banim, the 4 sons or the 4 children, right, of the Torah. It's in French. Is the translation in French? No, it's not. It's in English. This is English. Okay, then we get up to the story, the part of the Haggadah that has Arba'a Banim, the 4 sons, right? And what do we mean by the 4 sons? Anyone know what these 4 sons represent?
I do.
Go ahead.
So the Chacham like said Torah, like there's a Chacham and he prayed Torah and he did all of that. Then the Rasha was like, no, I don't want to leave Egypt, and he liked working, and he didn't do any mitzvot. The Ta'am was he asked a lot of questions, and the V'she'eino yodea lish'ol is he didn't know how to ask any questions.
Right. Okay. So you have the 4 sons correct. What they each represent, you're right in some of them. So it's not that the Rasha didn't want to leave Egypt. So all 4 of these children ended up leaving Egypt, right? So what the Haggadah is trying to say here is that, in general, there are 4 types of children that are going to be sitting at your table, right? Not every child is the same, and not every child is going to ask questions, and not every child is going to ask the same question, and not every child is going to even ask a question at all, right? So what the Haggadah is saying is you may have different types of children, and this is how you spot them. This is how you see what type of child it is and how to answer him, right? And what to do to kind of answer him and make sure that he understands the story of Purim, okay? We're going to start. So there's 4 paragraphs, as everyone sees. It starts Hacham, Rasha, Tam, and She'eno Yodei Lishol. Does anybody else want to give an explanation as to what these 4 are? And who was that? Was that Marshall or was that... Which of the Salami boys was that?
What the?
That just spoke. That just gave an explanation.
This is Bobby.
Bobby. Okay. Thanks, Bobby.
Or Robert.
Robert. Anybody else want to give it a try? Okay. Okay. So who's chatting? Let's see. 1 second. Oh. Okay. So we're going to go through some of these. We're going to go through one of these today, one of these next week, one of these the following week, and one of these the following week. And hopefully we'll understand more about these 4 different children. Okay. So first, I want to say that there's a specific way that the Syrians, and I think a lot of the Sephardim, have a very similar tune to the Haggadah, right? They chant the Haggadah more than they just say it. They say it in like almost like a sing song, right? They chant it more than they just say the words, right? We don't just say Hachamahu Omer Mahayidot. It's a little boring to say it that way. We have a nice chant to it. So whenever I read the Haggadah with you, and then you repeat after me, I'm gonna say it with the chanting, and I want you to say it back with that same chanting, because it's a little bit of a catchy tune, and it'll help you remember some of the words even better with the chant. So when I'm gonna say a couple of words, we're gonna read the whole paragraph. I'm gonna say a few words, and then you'll repeat after me, and then after we finish reading it, we're gonna explain it, okay? Okay, I'm going to say a few words and please repeat after me. Hacham mahu omer.
Chacham mahu omer.
Ma ha'edot. I don't hear anybody.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
No problem. You could keep yourself off mute. You don't have to mute and unmute.
Okay.
Ma ha'edot.
Ma ha'edot.
והחוקים והמשפטים.
והחוקים והמשפטים.
I want to hear some others. אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם. אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם. אף אתה אמור בו כהלכות הפסח. אין מקריבים אחר הפסח אפיקומים. Let's do that again. I'm going to say a few words and repeat after me, okay? Chacham mahu omer.
Chacham mahu omer.
Ma ha'edot.
Ma ha'edot.
והחוקים והמשפטים.
והחוקים והמשפטים.
אשר ציווה.
אשר ציווה.
אדוני אלוהינו אתכם.
אדוני אלוהינו אתכם.
אף אתה אמור לו.
אף אתה אמור לו.
כהלכות הפסח.
כהלכות הפסח.
אין מפטירין אחר הפסח.
אין מפטירין אחר הפסח.
אפיקומים.
אפיקומים.
Let's do that one more time. That was very good. Let's do it one more time. Hacham mahu omer.
Chacham mahu omer.
Ma ha'edot.
העדות
והחוקים והמשפטים
והחוקים והמשפטים
אשר ציווה
אשר ציווה
אדוני אלוהינו אתכם,
אדוני אלוהינו אתכם,
אף אתה אמור לו,
אף אתה אמור לו,
כהלכות הפסח
והלכות הפסח,
אין מפטירין אחר הפסח,
אין מפטירין אחר הפסח,
אפיקומין.
אפיקומין.
Good. So now let's understand what we're saying, right? So first of all, we're saying, right, Hacham, the wise one. Mahu Omer. What does the wise one say, right? How do you spot a wise son, right? What is he saying that's so wise, right? Why is he so smart, right? What does he say? Ma ha'idot. What's an idot? Idot, right, comes from the word aid. Aid means testimony, right? It means witness, right? So what's this? What are you witnessing over here? Like, what are these things that Hashem gave you? It's another way to kind of say mitzvot, right? So what are these mitzvot? Veha hukim. What's the hukim? What does hukim mean? Hok is also another type of mitzvah, right? So you have one type of mitzvah that's an idot, one type that's hukim, and you have another type that are mishpatim, right? Last week's parasha was parashat mishpatim, right? Mishpatim are also their laws; they're a different type of law, right? So you have three types of mitzvot: idot, hukim, and mishpatim. So right now the Hacham is saying, what are the mitzvot, the idot, the hukim, and mishpatim, asher tziva. What's asher tziva?
That God gave us.
That God commanded us.
Tziva is orders.
That, right? That was ordered to us, that was commanded to us. Very good. Right? Adonai Eloheinu etchem. Right? So that God commanded us, but not us. What does he say? It says etchem.
Etchem.
What's etchem mean?
Them.
Almost, right? He's talking to somebody. The Hacham, right? He's talking to his family. He's talking to his dad, right? And he's saying, what are these different mitzvot that God commanded you? Saying, what are you doing over here, right? What is this? All this like crazy stuff that you're doing. You're eating matzah, you're dipping, you're this. What's going on here, right?
I prefer to be able to eat bread over Pesach.
What?
Pesach makes me realize how good bread and that kind of stuff is.
It's only 8 days, right?
Yeah.
So this Hacham, he's saying, so what are these mitzvot that God commanded you, etchem, right? And what does the father reply to him, right? Af ata emorlo, right? Ata meaning the father. Tell him, say to him, Kehalchot haPesach. Tell him all the halachot of Pesach, right? Tell him we have to sit down, we have to eat a kazait of matzah, we have to eat the afikoman, we have to sing to Hashem, we have to say the Hagadah, we have to eat whatever else we have to eat, right? Tell him all the halachot of Pesach. You can't eat hametz. You have to, whatever other laws we have on Pesach, tell him, right? He's the Hacham. He's asking, what are the mitzvot? So tell him the mitzvot. Tell him what the halachot are, right? So that's what the Hacham is. The Hacham is asking, what are the mitzvot that you're doing? And so the Hagadah says to the father, okay, he's asking, what's the mitzvot? Tell him the mitzvot. Perfect. It's a great question. He wants to know. Tell him. And then what's one of the main halachot that you have to tell him? En maftirin ahar haPesach afikomin. What does that mean?
Afikoman.
Yeah, that's the afikoman, right? What does that mean?
Afikoman is the thing where you hide the matzah.
Yes, yes. Right. What does it mean? En maftirin ahar hapesach afikomin. What's maftirin? This is a very tricky one. We have, think about this, on Shabbat, we have different aliyot on Shabbat, right? We have Rishon, Sheni, Shalishi, we have all the, and then the last one that we have is called maftir, right? The last aliyah on Shabbat we have is the ending one, right? It's the maftir.
The meal's over, but the festivities aren't. I saw that one.
Right. So, exactly. So here, it says it right here. Tell him all the laws of Pesach down to the last detail of the Afikoman, which, even though it concludes the meal, does not end the celebration, right? So, en maftirin ahar haPesach afikomin. So even though the Afikoman or the Afikomin is the last thing that you're eating in the Seder, right, as part of Pesach, right? It's the last thing you eat, but it's not the last thing we do, right? It's not the last thing we do.
You'll have another night of it.
What?
You'll have another night of it.
Well, besides that, even that night after you eat the afikoman, right? It's not the last thing in the Seder. You don't pack up and go, right? What do we do after that? Let me see if I can find it here.
You clean the dishes.
No, you don't.
Here. You look for the afikoman.
No, okay. You found the afikoman. You ate the afikoman.
You say birkat hashachar.
No.
You say the bracha after the.
So you say birkat hamazon, very good.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
So you say birkat hamazon, fine. You would have to do that.
Then a few. So essentially,
what's after birkat hamazon?
A few more songs.
A few more songs. We say Hallel after Birkat Hamazon. So even though you finished eating, right, you're not allowed to eat anymore after the Afikoman. Maybe you could have some water, right? But that's really it. You can't really eat after the Afikoman anymore. So you ate the Afikoman. You said Birkat Hamazon because the Afikoman is bread, right? So you have to say Birkat Hamazon after you eat bread. And then what? You don't wrap it up. You don't say, okay, good night, everybody. You still have Hallel, right? You still have to say Hallel and Nirsah.
It's bread. Because if it was bread, it'd be chametz. So technically, we shouldn't be saying birkat hamazon.
It's the bread of Pesach, right? That's a very good point. It's a totally different class, right? But it's the bread of Pesach, so we say birkat hamazon on it. And then when we're done with birkat hamazon, we say Hallel. There's still something going on after we eat the afikoman, right? So that's what we tell the Hacham, right? The Hacham is saying, what's all these mitzvot that you're doing? Okay, so perfect. So the father now should tell his son or his daughter all the halachot, all the mitzvot of Pesach, and what even the most like minute mitzvah, even like the laws that you wouldn't even think to tell him, like every last detail. You should tell your child, your son or daughter. You should tell them even the law that, the afikoman's the last thing we eat, but we still continue singing to Hashem after that. Even that mitzvah you should tell him. So don't leave out any details, right? That's what the Hagadah is telling us. You have the Hacham. He's asking the questions of, oh, wow, what's this mitzvah? What are these mitzvot that you're doing? It looks so nice, right? But what are you doing? I want to be part of it, right? Oh, you want to be part of it? So let's teach you. Let's teach you what to do. And so much so we're going to teach you what to do. We're even going to teach you that, the smallest detail of you can't eat after the afikoman, right? But we still sing afterwards to Hashem. So that's what that means. So maftir, right? We should know what that means. Maftir is the last thing that's going on, right? That's why on Shabbat you have the aliyah of maftir. He's the last one, right? And we have the haftarah, which is also the same word, haftarah. It's the last one. And that's what we say to the Hacham. Let's read this one time together with the chant that we learned, and then we'll sign off for today. So everyone together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hacham mahu אומר מה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם, אף אתה אמור לו כהלכות הפסח, אין מפטירין אחר הפסח, אפיקומים. I want to do that one more time, okay? 1, 2, 3. חכם, הוא אומר מה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם, אף אתה אמור כהלכות הפסח, אין מפטירין אחר הפסח, אפיקומים. Very, very good. I want everyone to practice this, okay? I want everyone to practice this. And then next week, we're going to review this, and we're going to read about the bad one, the Rasha, right? The wicked one. We're going to see why he's so wicked, okay? Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for coming.